The last thing I would like to do is take a look at a word problem. So here's our example. Suppose we know an envelope is 3 centimeters longer than it is wide. The area is 270 square centimeters, and I'd like to find the length and the width. So I'm going to let, for the moment, W be the width of the envelope, and L be the length of the envelope. So what I know is the length is 3 centimeters longer than the width. So in other words, the length is the width plus 3. So that's where I came up with the formula that we have written right here. We also know that 270 is the area, and the area of a rectangle, which is what an envelope would be, is length times width. So I end up with 270 equals LW. And we'll now substitute in our formula for L from the first equation. So that now tells us that 270 equals W plus 3 multiplied by W, or in other words, W squared plus 3W. Now for this problem, we actually need to figure out what both L and W are. So I'm going to solve this equation that I have for W, and then I'll go back and figure out what L is. Now remember, when I have the equation W squared plus 3W equals 270, I cannot solve that equation in its current form. It is not possible to solve it. Please don't try to. What I need to do is get this quadratic equation set equal to 0. So I'd have W squared plus 3W minus 270 is equal to 0. And now I solve it, and this actually happens to factor. It'll factor into W plus 15 multiplied by W minus 12, and then set equal to 0. And when I set this equal to 0, I end up with W equals 12 and W equals negative 15. Now notice, negative 15 does not make sense as a width, and so what we're going to end up doing is throwing out that value. And so what we know is the width of the envelope would have to be 12 centimeters. Then, in order to get the length, we remember the width was the length. The length was one dimension was 3 plus the other dimension, and so in particular the length is the W plus 3. So 12 plus 3 is 15. So the dimensions of our envelope are 12 by 15 centimeters. So now you should go on and try some of the problems in the book. It's likely that some will give you trouble, but remember, as usual, we'll talk about them during class.